Are we seeing the first signs of a bit of a backward step from Ineos when it comes to how much money is going to be spent this summer? Contrasting reports. We're going to look at one side, we're going to look at the other. One saying United need to sell, one saying United have got money to bring in through Ineos themselves. And with financial fair play, we're in a better place. I know we're in a better place. You know we're in a better place. We've looked at the financial figures. We've seen what the experts have said. So why are Manchester United coming out and saying that they need to sell players? And it's going to be tight this summer. And the purse strings are going to be very, very tight. Do we have to sell certain key players as well? Is one of them players a Mr Marcus Rashford? Do United need to sell their best assets to do a proper rebuild? This is Forever United TV. I'm Adam. Welcome along to the live show, everybody. And welcome along if you're watching a bit later on after the live show has finished. Make sure you please just give the video a like before we get started. And obviously, if you're tuning in for the first time and thinking, who is this guy just telling me how it really is without any bull or fluff? Well, I'm Adam and you like it, hit the subscribe button as well. In we go. Let's get started. So where's the news come from this afternoon then? The Telegraph and James Ducker is the one that's, I was going to say spreading a load. He's not spreading a load. He's obviously done the reporting, done the interviews and spoke to people. And what's coming out of them reports are that Manchester United are really restrained by the previous 3 transfer windows, spending just over £550 million. And that's why, with financial fair play in the way it is, that's why you have to watch what you're spending this summer. Now, I've gone through the details. I've looked at what the financial experts have said. The books are open for everyone to see with Manchester United. And if you follow the financial fair play rules, then Manchester United are okay. So why are these stories coming out? Why have these been put out there by the media or just feathered out there by the football club to be put out there? Are they sort of going, and putting the brakes on a little bit here just to sort of calm the expectation levels down of the United fan base? Because everything has been insanely positive so far under Ineos on what's been rumoured. They're not even officially in the door yet. We know it's all done and dusted on that side of it, but from official announcement wise, we're not even there yet. So we have to look at this and go, why are these sorts of stories coming out now? I think personally it's just to stop people getting a little bit too carried away because, like I said, everything is good at the moment. Ashworth looks like it's round the corner. Ineos going to spend money to bring in the best. The structure looks right. I know we need the right structure in, and we know we can't spend absolute fortunes. What I said last time was that the money is there to spend. It's if United want to spend it. That's the question more than who we're going to sell and why we can't bloody spend any money and why we're so purse strings tightened and all of that. It's one of Manchester United trying to obviously put the feelers out and put out a few little fires as well at the same time, I feel. I think that's what we're trying to do with this. I think that's where United are aiming. And I think just to sort of curb expectation levels. Now, Marcus Rashford, for me, and the reason I'm asking this question is because there's obviously other reports come out today mixed in with this, and obviously then you start to thinking of putting 2 and 2 together. Some reports are saying that Marcus Rashford does not now want to leave Manchester United, while the same reports actually saying that Manchester United would consider heavy bids for Marcus Rashford. We know the president of PSG has been talking about Marcus Rashford and will want to revisit the inquiries again this summer. They're facts, and that has been said. Marcus Rashford in a position right now, everyone knows my stance for Rashford. I want him gone. I'm not even talking about that today. I've got nothing personal-wise I want to talk about of him with this video. I know my mind is made up with Marcus Rashford. I'm just looking at this now and posing the question, why would Ineos need to sell players to fund the summer? We know that there's money being invested into the team. So why would the Telegraph be reporting these stories now when we already know that the financial situation is better for Manchester United? No, not fantastic. And obviously financial fair play does play a part. Why would you put a story out knowing that the financial fair play rules are about to change and the financial fair play PSR is already in United's favour with the amount of revenues that we can bring in? In that same story, they're saying that Manchester United are even worse off if we don't qualify for the Champions League. That is true, obviously, because there are a lot of riches that come out of the Champions League. And also, within that report, if you read further down, we're not that bad. What was said in it is this. So this is more of a headline hunter than anything else. What was said in the report was that Manchester United obviously can plough as much money into the infrastructure as they want. It doesn't matter. That doesn't count. But when it comes to playing staff, it's a different ball game altogether. A different ball game being that it's a long game and patience is needed. There's that word again. We've said that many a times on the show, haven't we? But that's where Manchester United are at. We are in a position where we can't do everything in one summer. You can't just go out and do what Manchester City did. That was in the report, and one of the people close to Ineos that was speaking to the Telegraph, and they said it's going to take a few years of building properly. We all know that. So why is the headline with Manchester United being tight on the old budget come from? Where is that? Why is that actually out there now? Why has that come out today? And it's interesting because I just feel like this is just let's just touch the brake pedal rather than keep our foot flat to the accelerator. I think that's what it is right now. And they're just easing off a little bit, I feel, and already now in position, and we know what's happening with Ashworth. The investment has got to go in there. Whether or not that's classed as infrastructure, I do not know. I don't know how they judge the old staffing situation when it comes to financial fair play, but you look at it and you go, well, maybe they're looking at that and thinking we are going to have to spend a little bit of money on the staffing situation, and we are going to then have to curb a little bit when we come to the transfer market. I don't think so. I mean, honestly, I know United have got money. There are reports that there is a massive exodus, which we've talked about plenty of times, but Marcus Rashford, I feel, just needs to be sold anyway. And it does cure a lot of problems straight away. Then we can go out and have that normal summer. I say that simply because we know we're going to have the space in the team then if Marcus Rashford goes. He's going to be a homegrown player, and for financial fair play, 100% profit works very, very well for Manchester United. We're going to have got rid of Anthony Martial's wages, which are now on nearly 16-17 million pound a bleeding year. So that's off the books as well. That's helping. Heaton's contract ends. He's gone. We know we're going to be selling Lindelof and Wan-Bissaka as well, according to reports. So looking at that, I go, well, we're in a position where we've got to play a lot of players that we can get rid of. I don't necessarily feel like we need to be rid of them players just to bring others in. I don't think United are in that situation. The financials showed that Manchester United can spend a certain amount of money. We could have spent money in January, but for some reason the club are trying to use this. I don't see how the club can actually try and cover this up, because everyone can see the figures that are released. Everyone sees the financials, and the experts have broken them down using the rules with financial fair play. And their side of the story is that we can spend money. So for me, I look at it and I go, I'm probably trusting the financial experts more than what the club is saying. They said we couldn't spend a certain amount on players last summer, but we ended up spending over 160 million in the end. Apparently it was about 100 million. We hardly brought anything in. I think it was about 24 million in player sales. So I look at it and I go, I'm not having all of that. I don't think that is the case. And personally, I don't think that Manchester United do need to sell players this summer. I think we are all right anyway. The players that are leaving on a free are just going to free up them wages. And the players that are looking elsewhere or are not fit for purpose at United that are on contracts are looking to be sold. There's another story come out tonight about Jadon Sancho. Actually, even if Ten Hag isn't the manager, the club still want him gone. So there's been serious fallout there. Them reports are true. It may be not just Ten Hag that he has let down or fallen out with at Manchester United. So looking at that, I would say there is going to be exits anyway. Donny van der Beek, I don't think we're going to be able to raise much money for him. I don't know who's going to bid for him. I'm pretty certain Frankfurt are not going to take that option to trigger the buy option from him. But hey, you never know. We may be able to get him flogged to someone for maybe 5 million. I honestly don't know who he's going to buy him. He just doesn't hold any value at all. So that's not going to help. Sancho, what are we going to get for him? We're hearing that Greenwood's only going to be going for 30 to 40 million. That's not enough. So all of these players added together still are not going to count for much in terms of Manchester United adding funds to the kitty for this summer. There's only one player that's going to add massive, massive value to Manchester United's summer spending if we sell him, and that's Marcus Rashford. He's on a long-term contract. United can negotiate whatever deal they want with PSG and really push the envelope. And they really need a striker. Yes, people will say that they are going to be potless. Well, they're not potless, but they're going to be without money because Mbappe is going on a free to Real Madrid. But what people fail to see with that one is the £200 million wages that they are going to save from what they give Kylian Mbappe. So, for me, PSG are in a very, very strong situation. United are in a comfortable situation. A player in his so-called peak, in the best years of his career, age-wise, not form-wise, and a big contract to negotiate with. So we hold all the cards and we can negotiate a decent deal with PSG for Marcus Rashford. Do the club need to sell Marcus Rashford? No, they don't. I think they need to sell him if they want to really push the envelope and get a full-on rebuild this summer. And it definitely helps with the homegrown player and the amount of money we can bring in and take profit-wise. But I feel like Manchester United are just putting the brakes on a bit, like I said at the top, and just slowing things down because the momentum is building. It's getting very exciting, and everyone is starting to look at Manchester United in a completely different way as to like a couple more decent results. I mean, if Manchester United do manage to win the next 3 games, then we are in a very, very comfortable, strong position going in to this run-in for the fight for the Champions League places. You've got that, and then you've got all of the Sir Jim Ratcliffe and everything coming added to it. I just feel like they're putting the brakes on off the pitch because they know what's coming up on the pitch as well. It's like, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're not going to be buying Galacticos. We're not going to be spending fortunes. If Manchester United spent 150 million but spent it in the right way, I've not got a problem with that. I think if you spent 150 million every single summer, then I think that's fair enough. We don't need to be spending 200 plus. We probably need to look at spending more at the moment because of the catastrophe of the previous transfer windows and how much money we've actually wasted. That's the problem we've got right now. Rashford has passed his best at United. He's not going to get any better. If an opportunity comes and PSG want to buy him, the reports of 100 million are absolute dross. Anyone who thinks that Marcus Rashford is worth £100 million needs their head testing. He's a 60, 70 million pound player at best. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. There's not one player in Manchester United's team worth 100 million. There's not many in the world. The transfer market is changing. You're looking at Kylian Mbappe, who's probably worth over 100 million, going for free. Yeah, his wages are going to cost quite a lot, but still, he's going for free. These transfer windows now are changing. Players have got more power and they're running their contracts down. I think Rashford's one. Right now, I think he did sign thinking that he was going to carry on and take United forward. There's been something going on behind the scenes, and fallout-wise, something big has happened at United for Rashford to now go the way he's going. But honestly, I look at it and I go, Rashford to go this summer is probably the perfect time for me. I think everything that's happened this season anyway. Yes, his attitude on the pitch. Yes, for United to take full advantage of the transfer market and get rid of Rashford at exactly the right time for the most profit? 100% yes. Super chat in from Alien 10. Oh, cheers, mate. It says, Kaz Corner, United Women's Team Show. Make it happen. Make it happen, Alien. You're pushing too much at it now. You're pushing too much, mate. Please give the video a like, guys. We're just creeping up to the 100 mark. A load of football on tonight, so everyone is getting up and getting themselves ready for that. So I want to get everything and all the news out quickly at the top of the show. I just want to get into the chat with you guys now and see where you're at with everything. Let's just make it very clear. I'm not having a personal go at Rashford. You all know how I feel about him. I'm not making another video about him. There is nothing personal, like it says in the thumbnail. Do United need to sell him? That meaning, do they need to sell him now if they want to fund the summer? Why are these stories coming out that United have not got much to spend in the summer? Are the newspapers just making this up because of the financials and what's happened? Have the club said something in terms of the paper actually putting stuff out and the media reporting on this just to quash any high expectations within the United fan base? There's a lot of conspiracy theories you could go into, but at the end of the day, Manchester United are in a better position than what they was. If we get in the Champions League, we're in a miles better position. I think what's being said, I feel as well, is just to make sure if we do have a catastrophe, and like I said before, I think they're just putting the brakes on because they know what's coming up on the pitch, i.e. a very, very tough run of games for United where defeats, you would not be surprised. We're winning the games we should win, but we're coming up against some tough opposition, and anyone would say if United lost these games, they're probably not surprised, and it's not as big a deal. But ultimately, it ruins our running for the Champions League. Now, Champions League brings that extra spending, so if United do end up falling out on form, and don't make the top 4 or 5 and not in the Champions League, then I 100% agree that the finances are not as good, and maybe we will just have to watch what we spend a little bit, and maybe we won't be able to attract them certain players that we thought we could do within the Champions League. Therefore, not spending as much money in the transfer markets. And that pretty much rounds up everything on that side of things that I feel is why this news is coming out now. United would have known that this was coming out. The story would have been run by them. Everyone's looked into Ineos and where they're at. They've spoken to people at Ineos who have just said, look, it's going to take time. That's all he said. There was nothing about how Manchester United have completely blown all budgets over the last 3 seasons. They've said that the last 3 summers spending, which adds up to 555 million, what is hampering us right now. It's not. Let's just reverse that and break the language barrier down. What they're really saying is that you're not going to be getting that spend in this summer. That's all. So you're not going to divide that 555 into 3, and then that's what we're going to spend again this summer. I think United between 150 and 200 million is what we'll end up spending this summer. I guarantee it. We are going to sell players. That was a guarantee anyway. We are going to rinse that wage bill, and United will look to structure their transfer window completely different. If you want to be working on a shoestring budget, then this morning's video tells you everything you need to know of how Manchester United won't be able to do that. Because if Murto is in control, then United are going to struggle. It's as simple as that. We are going to struggle big time. If we need the best in class to get us through these tricky windows and not spend as much money and buy the right players that are properly recruited, that team needs to be in place. Ashworth needs to happen, and it needs to happen quick. It doesn't need to be dragged out to Manchester United being patient and waiting the long game. The longer it is without him in place, the harder it is for Manchester United to do business, in my opinion. So, yeah, let's look at it that way, and let's just say we are better with than waiting. That's what I'll say. But guys, let's get into your chat and see what you are saying regarding Marcus Rashford. How much money can we make selling all the deadwood? It's got to add up even with a loss. You add the players up. There's not much value in our squad right now in terms of deadwood players anyway. Lindelof and Wan-Bissaka are not going to fetch much because they're in the last year of their contracts. Heaton, Varane, Martial. There's 5 or 6 players gone right there. All of the loan players that are coming back, Donny van der Beek. I reckon, man, if United sold 11 sort of fringe players, and there is that amount, then I still think we're shy. I think we're probably going to get 100 million. I'd say if Sancho went, if Greenwood went, Donny van der Beek, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, they're players I think could fetch money out of that first team. Rumoured players to be going out of the door. So genuine Manchester United exit list right there. You're probably scraping together just over 100 million for them, I think. It's sad, isn't it? It is sad. You'd think there'd be more Manchester United players, 5 first team or so-called first team players leaving the football club. And you're only scraping together barely 100 million? Nah, it isn't. It isn't there, and it's just the way it is, isn't it? It's just an acceptance for all Manchester United fans to look at it and go, well, we have to just draw the line and start afresh. If it means building our way back up by buying the right type of player at the right price, no more big lavish signings, then that's the way it's got to be. It's as simple as that. 200 million to spend, same as we always do. I'm not worried about that at all. We shouldn't be worried. I don't think we need to be worried with 150 million spent. I just feel like it needs to have the right structure to spend it, though. And it's like this morning's video sort of interlines with this evening's video in terms of if it's Murto doing it, then we're in trouble. If it's the other way around and we've got the new structure in place, then we're feeling a bit better off. That's how it is. Because I don't have any confidence at all in Ten Hag or Murto going out and spending 150 million. If it is a shoestring budget, and I'm not believing that for 1 minute, I still think there's more to spend. I think they're just curbing everyone's enthusiasm, like I said. I don't want Murto in charge of that money. I don't. I really, and I feel like Barada will be in situ by the summer, by the end of the season. We know that for certain. His gardening leave will be up, and Manchester United can really look ahead. But the Ashworth one, I think, is where, you know what, just spend the money. Spend the money, get him in quickly. And I feel like every United fan would feel a lot more confident in the players that we were looking for. And like I said, the market has changed. There are very, very few 80 million plus players out there now. It's a totally different transfer market altogether. You can find the right deals. You can make weight. You can split them costs as well. We've got 150 million, 200 million to spend. This is where it doesn't add up. Because them monies are spread over a certain amount of years, like we've already talked about. So a £100 million player is spread up into 3 years worth of payments. So it's just over 30 million each time. If we go out and spend, say, 35 million on a young centre-back, that gets spread out over 3 years. Manchester United, with the new Champions League money coming in and the investment from Ineos as well, we're comfortable. There's no reason to panic. And if we did sell players, which, you know what, I think inevitably these players were all going to go anyway. So instead of like adding them to it and needing to add them to the kitty, I think they were all going to go, and this is just a bonus on top. I don't necessarily feel like we have to spend all of that money yet. I think we can invest it the right way into the football club. We've got good young players coming through. I think if you had, for instance, and you were going to spend 150 million this summer, 3 players at the right value, 45 to 50 million, good players that are going to do a job at Manchester United and come in. I think them players are out there, by the way, that are going to make us better, that can come right into the first team. Then that's a good start. With all of the young players coming through as well, added to that, and the deadwood gone, we can build from there. It isn't going to happen overnight. It really isn't going to happen overnight. So anyone thinking that we're challenging for the title next season just needs to just take a little bit of a rain check, take a step back a little bit and just go, right, okay, just calm down. Let's just look at this reasonably, because that is the impossible. It is. Things can happen, yes. I've seen like you said, we can see under new managers, sometimes you get that bounce and it's great. Look at what Xabi Alonso's doing at Bayer Leverkusen. The Premier League's a different animal altogether. It really is. We have a new member in the house. Welcome to the Members Club, Lee Dixon, gifted by The Honest Tiger, the legend of the channel that is The Honest Tiger. Welcome, my friend, you automatic legend. Michael Bethwaite, are you doing a live stream from Old Trafford this week? I am indeed. I think we are going to try and get that one out tomorrow, guys. So, yeah, stay tuned to the notifications for tomorrow. We'll keep you posted on that one. It's definitely going to be... there is going to definitely be a few. Don't forget, we're mixing it up continuously. It's a Saturday game this week, thankfully, guys. So, yeah, a bit of normal football. 3 o'clock kickoff time. Fulham at home. We're going to be live beforehand. We're going to have all of the vlogs. We're going to be live later on at the night as well for the breakdown video. So, yeah, plenty of content coming up on Saturday. And plenty of stuff this week as well. The paper round will be back on Sunday as well. So, there is all sorts going on, guys. All sorts going on behind the scenes right now. Today, wow, weather, seriously, absolute shocker, absolute shocker. This is that horrible week as well, where last season in this very week we were playing Barcelona in that playoff game, which, by the way, is the only reason why Italy and Germany are ahead of England in terms of that extra place in the Champions League, because we haven't had anyone in these so-called playoff games, and they have. every single game carries the same amount of points no matter what European competition. So when you put people putting the frighteners out there on social media about us being out of that 5th place Champions League spot, the extra ones again, don't worry. We're still safe. When all of the English teams start playing, it's like, for instance, tonight, if Arsenal win, then we probably go back in to claiming that place again. And then when the Europa League and Europa Conference League start up again, and our other 3 teams enter it, which is Liverpool, they'll probably win the Europa League. Aston Villa, they'll probably win the Europa Conference League. And West Ham will probably go far. Then you'll start to see England climb up that table. So don't worry about it. We will be getting that 5th spot, barring an absolute catastrophe. So yeah, it all goes for how many teams are still in and how many results they get, positive results, and then the points will keep on accumulating and so on. Rashford's productivity on the pitch is abysmal. He rarely defends and has hardly goes in for tackles. Throws his arms up in the air mostly and only crosses the ball as a result of a mishit shot. That's from Paul. Selchon says, my worry is Rashford being lazy like last week could derail the run the team is on. Now Mbappe is confirmed to Real. Rashford could go on a stop and hurt our fight for 4th. Yeah, I think he'll start. Like I said, I don't want to get into it because I don't want anyone to think I've got a personal vendetta against him. I've just seen enough for me personally that I want him gone. His form on the pitch, you can all see it for yourselves and we all judge it. We take it game by game. So, game by game, Marcus Rashford is nowhere near the form we need him to be in to help the team comfortably finish in the top 4/top 5. I think we're carrying him a bit at the moment, to be honest. He is a bit of a passenger, whereas the work rate you're getting from everyone else is night and day compared to Marcus Rashford. So looking at it, I go, Rashford definitely is he's a player that I think, as long as we line up someone as a replacement, because we are going to need a replacement, direct first-team player. There are players on the fringes that could come in for United, but they're not good enough, let's be honest. Rashford's there because he's better than everyone else sat on the bench right now. That's it. If we had better players, I don't think Rashford would be in the team with Ten Hag. I don't. But he knows there's no one else better right now, and that's why Rashford's in the team. So, looking at that, if Rashford does go, we definitely need a first-class replacement coming straight into the team for him. The reports about Ineos wanting to keep Marcus Rashford, I don't believe it. I really don't believe it. I think it's complete baloney. They would look at that, and everything you look at and what they stand for is the opposite to Marcus Rashford. Someone said in the same report that they are from the what was it the word they used now? From the brilliant. Let's just round it off and say brilliant season last season, or the record-breaking season he had last season. That's give them the confidence that Marcus Rashford is a player we can use in the future at Manchester United. Shut up. No, he's not. He's definitely not. He's too inconsistent for that. He's not going to get any better than what he is now, is he? He's not. We've seen that. He hasn't got the drive. He hasn't got the will. He hasn't got the want to actually do that. So, looking at it, I would go, no, Rashford definitely is not a player for the future for Manchester United. We can all see that. The video that was going around was a disgrace of him just walking around Ross Barkley from the game at Luton. It's isolated and it's pinned and it's clipped and it makes him look worse. And we don't always look into video clips and stuff. It doesn't tell you the true story a lot of the time, but we've seen it with our own eyes that Rashford is not. He's not the type of player that you want in your team if you're looking to rely on someone as a senior player. He's not. He's nowhere near that. And if Ineos are setting their standards as Rashford, then we're doomed, aren't we? Because he isn't good enough. He is not good enough. He's a very, very good player. If you want to be challenging, you need world-class players. If you can cash in on Rashford and buy someone better, then you do that. That's what a productive football club would do. That's what Manchester City would do. They would move a player on. They moved Mahrez on and brought someone else in. They continuously bringing in more and more players. The players that they get rid of are actually good players. You look at Cole Palmer. He's having a great season for Chelsea, but there's no room for him. Marcus Rashford, he had a great season last season for Manchester United, but this season he's been a million miles away from that. And you have to look at it as a big club. You always know when when the player's time is right to leave. You know when that player's time is up, and you know that Marcus Rashford's is now. It's the perfect time to sell. You've got the perfect setup in PSG, all ready to go. They're missing a player. They need a high-profile player to replace Mbappe. There is no one more high-profile than Marcus Rashford right now in the world of football with everything going on. He's a perfect setup. I'm not even comparing him to Mbappe in terms of that. I'm just looking at profile of player. I think the French league is probably better for him. I think he won't have as many people going for him or gunning for him. I think the standard is less, but he's still at a big club and probably can compete in the Champions League and have his big moments at nights like that. I just think it's time. United have got the perfect opportunity right now to rid themselves of Marcus Rashford. And I don't mean that in a horrible way. I just think his time has come. I do. United need to move on past Marcus Rashford and stop relying on him and bigging him up as this absolute world-class player. Last season, we thought we'd cracked it. I thought we'd cracked it. I thought I was vindicated in backing Marcus Rashford for all of these years. But this season's form, and I'm only talking about football matters, forget everything else on the pitch, that's past now. And it's just been a convincer for me this season as to why I want him gone. But I look at his form this season. You cannot have a good season, a bad season, a good season, a bad season. You do not get world-class status in performances like that. It's as simple as that. It won't happen, and he won't get any better than what he is now. Guarantee it. Daniel Hutchinson. But will they sell players? They say this every summer, don't they? Well, again, I feel like with Ineos, this is the perfect opportunity to set the benchmark and set the standard. If they go out and sell players now, Ineos, in their first summer, then Manchester United are looking. We're looking like a different setup. We're looking like a different animal, and everyone needs to get excited about that because you're right in what you said, Daniel. We've said this before, we've never moved anyone on. Are we going to cut our losses and get rid of these players? Even if it just means, look, players that are just clinging on to a wage go for, I don't know, maybe 60% less than what we bought them for. There's never been a better time because it's a new ownership model coming in for the football side of things, that is. There's never been a better time for someone to just come in and just go, right, doesn't matter what price, we're just looking at this from what we've got right now. Forget about what's happened in the past. Forget about the prices and what we paid for him. We're not looking to make profits. All we're looking to do is raise money now. There's the line. This is what happened last time and when the players were brought in, and this is where we're looking now. So where we're at, we've got players that don't fit into the team. We thought they were going to be great on this side, and all of that palaver and the Woodward and the Galactico era, and United can do things in the transfer market that other clubs can only dream of. Forget that. Let's just screw it up in the ball, launch it over there, and now let's move forward here. How much money can we make for this lot here, this lot of players that is contributing jack shit to this football team right now? How much can we make? There we are. That's where we need to get to. Forget about what was before. Ineos can just say, that's not our issue. We're looking at the now, and this is what we've made to move forward. Judge us from this point here going forward. That's what needs to happen with Ineos, and I hope that's how they approach it, because if they start looking to try and make as minimal loss as possible on these players, they'll end up losing and the players won't end up leaving. That's what United have always done in every single approach, and why Daniel says there, they've always said it, and they've never been able to move players on. It's true. It is true. Happy Dave says, all these players that are here, they are going in the summer, are not going to try and get us in the top four. Big club, small club mentality players. That's what that is, unfortunately. And we've got an abundance of them. Kaz, I tried that myself. Took me to Predict page. Oh, sorry. Another conversation. Rashford isn't getting sold. That would be a commercial suicide. Doesn't matter about commercial revenues. Remember that. And we've got better players. Commercial revenue. I mean, Man United are not even in the top 4 of shirt sales now in Europe. So commercial revenue. Who is going to buy a Rashford shirt now? I mean, seriously? No. The days of pin-up boys and commercial revenues are gone. Ineos have said this. It would be suicide for them to keep Rashford because of that. That would just be uproar and would lose the fan base instantly. Rashford, Bruno, Shaw, Varane, Casemiro out. He's brutal there with his verdict. That's Salford, how you doing? I would give Rashford away in a raffle. When he can make a bit of money, come on. Could make a bit of money. Sell Sancho and Rashford. Sancho's definitely going according to all reports at the moment, guys. Keep liking the video, guys. By the way, we're nearly at the 150 mark. Let's keep it up. If Rashford stays, he shouldn't be an automatic starter unless his form changes dramatically. He's never an automatic starter, is he? He's never going to be an automatic starter for Manchester United. He shouldn't be anyway. I totally agree with that. He just isn't. He hasn't got it in him for me. I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. And any normal manager coming into this situation on a properly run club, Rashford would not be starting right now. He wouldn't be. The only problem we've got is, like I said before, there's no one better right now. And when the manager's job is on the line, he has to put players on that he knows can just turn up and do something like that. Ten Hag has lost all rhythm and rhyme of how to get this team playing in a certain style. Right now, he's just got winners, he feels, on the pitch that are going to work for him. Because let's be honest, we're having moments in games and spells in games. We're never controlling games. And you're just hoping when we have one of them spells, we actually get the ball and put it in the back of the net. And that's what we have done in the last 4 games. We're not playing fantastic. We're just stubborn and hard to beat. That's what United are right now. Nothing great. Nothing that's going to ever claim a trophy the way we're playing. Get Fulham out of the way this weekend and it gets insanely difficult for United, because watching Nottingham Forest under Nuno, they've already done us once this season. Going to the City Ground, there's no guarantee that United are getting through that cup tie against Nottingham Forest. And the season could completely spin, because you could look at them 2 games and go, we lose to Forest. That is easily conceivable. We could see that happening. It's happened already this season. And same way we could win the game as well and move on, and it looked great. And we go into the derby full of confidence. We could lose to Forest and we could lose to City. We're out the FA Cup and we took a step back in the fight for the top 4 in the Champions League. And it all looks doom and gloom. It does, doesn't it? It just spins around in the space of 3 days, and that's United's season in a nutshell. All of the hard work, and then it's just going to all blow up again if we lose to Forest and City. It will go the complete opposite way if we win both of them games. Can you imagine if we win both of them games? It would be off the scale. Can you believe and trust in these players that they are going to do it, though? That's the difference. That's the difference in it. If a super chat, sorry, I missed that one from London. 1965-7, thank you, mates. Great show. What TV channel is the match on Saturday? I'm in the US, but I can usually get it. Can't see it listed. It isn't on in England, mate. That's why. It's a blackout game, which is a 3 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday. Very rarely do Manchester United get these games, but yes, this Saturday it isn't on terrestrial. It isn't on any broadcaster here in England. It's the Carabao Cup final weekend, and I think there's some bigger games on actually this weekend. I think I'm sure Chelsea and Spurs are actually Friday night. I'm sure they are. I think that's one anyway. But you look at that there, and you look at United and what's happening right now, and just the prospect of these next few games coming up, is just beat Fulham, because I feel like Chelsea are going to beat Spurs. And then we're level on points with Tottenham. And then our next game in the league obviously is City. So even if we lose that and Spurs pick up points, we're still only a result away and we're right in it still. So this was the importance of February. Get as many points on the board as you possibly can. One more win from an absolute clean sweep, 100% record from February. It'd be fantastic. Then heading into the tough spell of games. And if you lose to City, the game against City will be judged on how Manchester United's attitude is. The result won't. It'll be judged on solely how Manchester United acts. Is it going to be a down tools job? We got no chance of beating City, so we're just going to give up. If it's one of them, then the critics and the knives are out straight away. We can't afford to do that. We definitely can't afford to do what we did against City last season at the Etihad, which was just capitulate completely and show zero professionalism. If that happens again, then the warranted criticism that comes. It's fair. If Manchester United lose that game but put on a decent show, as in fight and run them close, no one's really going to be bothered about that. And United could probably move on from that and try and recover the next week. It'll be how United recover from the City game, I think, that people are going to be looking to judge more than anything else. So no matter what happens in that derby, if Man United bounce back from it, then I think that's where we're going to be at. That's where it's going to be judged. And I feel like all eyes are going to be on Erik ten Hag at that point again. And this is where the real test is going to be. It's all made easier if we get through the Fulham game. We win it 5 in a row. Great February, right up there. And a lose against City, you're not looking at it as a catastrophe, because we've actually been on a decent run of results and we can easily claw that back with the games that are left. Welcome to the Members Club, Brian Francis. That was gifted by the legend of Dremel Foodie, another new member in tonight. Welcome along, my friend, you automatic legend, Brian. Hope you're doing well. Make sure you guys do download the SofaScore app. Our partners here on Forever United TV. Bottom right hand corner there is a QR code. You've got to scan that. If not, then just drop down in the description and the link is right there, guys. So, yeah, join that. Get the best football app that is out there right now on your phone. All of your results, score updates, everything going on with your team to your phone instantly. The best app out there, rated top 20. Thank you very much, guys. Get on that as well, please. Another member that has just come in is 5G Star. That was gifted by London 1965-7. Thank you, London. Great performance from you tonight, my friend. What do you reckon the scores are going to be? Tonight's game, we've got City and is it Arsenal playing tomorrow as well against Porto? So lots of games this week. Lots and lots of games. I think it's going to be one of them. It's like, do you feel like the Champions League has lost its buzz? I think this is why UEFA are actually changing things up a little bit. This gap, so you play one leg and it's like, what is it? It's like 3 weeks till you play the next leg. It just loses all excitement, doesn't it? You forget about the bleeding leg and you forget about the tie a little bit. It's just completely wrong, in my opinion, the way that UEFA have restructured the Champions League over the last few years. The big gaps, the playoff game from Europa to the Champions League, it just doesn't work for me. And I look at it and I go, nah, they can do so much more. I think this is why they're changing it next season. I think it is. I only care about Manchester United, Adam, says UK Strains. Hey, if Arsenal do well, it goes well for us, mate, because we get that 5th spot. So you've got to look at it. Plus, you always want to watch it for a bit of a laugh, don't you, if the opposition do us a favour. I think City will smash Brentford tonight, though. I think they'll take him to the cleaners. It's just how I see it. I think after a poor result against Chelsea, I'm just glad that that poor result against Chelsea came with 2 games to go until we played them, because City always bounce, don't they? City always bounce back against us, and we always seem to be in the way. And it's just our luck, really, and what happens. Graham is talking in the chat there to Kaz. What are you saying, Graham? He says, Kaz, did you hear my vlog on Instagram? I am done with him too, but we need a left/right attacker to replace him. I am struggling to come up with a realistic alternative. That being Rashford, it must be. But again, the whole conversation comes about with Rashford every single week, doesn't it? You're wondering why we're talking about him? You're wondering why Marcus Rashford is hot topic? And why we could possibly look to him to sell to make money this season? You only have to look at his performances on the pitch. Forget about what he's done off it. We've already said that and put that to bed. He has been very average at best on the pitch, and that's why we keep talking about it, because he is not good enough. You can't say he is off one season. You needed him to back that season up. Even if he was like in the numbers sort of territory that Højlund is right now, you go, all right, he's had a bad one. It's not been great, but at least he's still scoring goals. Højlund with 13 goals this season has put Rashford to shame. He really has. And sometimes players don't take to new players coming in. Anthony Martial's another one. Rashford and Martial, when they were top dogs, they were great together, weren't they? They were a fantastic partnership, and they looked scary. But when someone else came in, whether it was a Lukaku, whether it was a Zlatan Ibrahimovic, a Cavani, a Falcao, anyone like that, where were Rashford and Martial? They disappeared, didn't they? They disappeared. Played second fiddle. If you are a world-class player, you rise to the challenge and you hold your own. That's the difference between top class and averagely good. Alien Tenno with another super chat. Cheers, mate. The away goal ruling killed UEFA Champions League. Kinda, yeah. What else have we got before we finish up? Him and Bruno are underperforming and have been all season. Get rid of them both while there is money in them. I think Rashford knows he is leaving in the summer, says Mike. That was United Spotlight with the previous comment there as well, guys. Mitoma from Brighton. Excuse me. That one came from the depths again. I like Mitoma. I think he's a good player. Not been as good this season, but still very effective. I like Elise still. I'm still going to back that argument. I think he'd be a good player for United. Lee Dixon says, Adam, do you think we will get Harry Kane in the summer? Rumours he wants out already. No, they're not going to. Ineos won't buy Harry Kane. Anyone sensible is not going to buy Harry Kane now, I don't think. Because he's done it. He's done everything in England. He's gone to Bayern. It's not worth investing now another season on the amount of money that would be demanded for Harry Kane. It's just not worth it. And I don't think anyone will take that risk on Kane now. If the money was right, then I think someone would. I don't think United are that team anymore. I don't think they are at all. Daz Salford, I can't stand him. A Manchester lad with that attitude winds me up. Fergie would have bulleted him straight out. Anthony Wisdom says, this is why we're getting in Ashworth. He will be able to identify a player who can hopefully fill his boots. He's only had one prolific season anyway. Rest have been average. Can't really argue with that one. But guys, that pretty much is it for all of your updates. The football is on, so everyone's flying across to watch football tonight. I get it, don't worry. And yeah, we will be back tomorrow. Keep you posted on Live Outside. We're looking to do that tomorrow, guys, as well. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Enjoy your evenings. Please give the video a like on the way out. See if we can get it up to 200 while you're leaving the room. That would be great. And yeah, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well if you are tuning in for the first time. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great evening. I will see you all tomorrow. And yeah, up the Reds. Another day closer to another game day. At least next week it's double game week. Hey, cheers for watching, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow.